Howdy remarketing fans and welcome back. We're now at an exciting part of this course where we're going to actually start building these remarketing audiences that we've been planning, that we've been working on, that we've been thinking about, and we're going to start creating the actual audiences inside AdWords Analytics that we're going to be able to use in these actual remarketing campaigns. The first step in creating these remarketing audiences inside Google Analytics, which is what we're going to do first, because Google Analytics is more complex, it's harder, there's more to learn, it's also more powerful. So we're going to dive right in, and we're not going to bother getting our feet and our toes wet first with AdWords, but we're going to cover AdWords shortly. But anyway, the first step in creating those lists inside Google Analytics is linking your Google AdWords and Google Analytics accounts. I wanted to just take a quick step back and just go over some of these basic ideas first. In order to build these remarketing audiences in Google Analytics, our AdWords and Analytics accounts have to be linked. That's a mistake a lot of people make. They try to go build these lists in Analytics. They can't. You need to link your AdWords account to your Google Analytics account, and we're going to do that in this lecture in just a minute. So just as a broader overview and a quick review, right? We're actually collecting data in two different ways. We're collecting data with the remarketing tag and the Google Analytics universal tag that we've put on our site. It's either hard-coded, it's through Google Tag Manager, it's through a plugin, whatever it may be, but those tags are the tags that are sending the information back to AdWords' servers and Google Analytics' servers, where they get processed and where they get put in our account, but that's the act of data collection. List building is that process of just sorting our data, right? We're thinning the data, we're creating those buckets of users. So the actual act, the practical act of casting that net and collecting all the fish is the data collection via the tags, and then just sorting the different sorts of fish based on value, based on color, whatever the parameters that we're going to use, just kind of organizing all that data, all our users, is the idea of list building. There's two different ways we could build lists. We could do list building in Google Analytics, which is what we're going to do first, and then importing them into AdWords, which is a more robust way to build audiences, as you're going to see very soon. And then there's list building in Google AdWords, which is URL based. It's easier, it's quicker, it's much simpler, and we're going to do that second. And then the actual ad campaign management, that only happens inside AdWords, where we create the campaigns, the ad groups, we set our bids, we configure our settings, we design or upload our ads, all that sort of campaign management, the billing, that's all done inside of AdWords. Now, just to give you a quick kind of visual representation of these ideas here. So say we have over here our computer screen, okay? Let's say that's our computer, and we have the green is for the AdWords tag, and we have our orangish, yellowish Google Analytics tag over here. So in that data collection process, our AdWords tag is sending data back into Google AdWords servers, and the Analytics tag is likewise sending all that data about our users back into Google Analytics servers. All that data gets processed and it gets displayed in our account. When we go ahead and do our list building inside Google Analytics based on the data that came in, we then have to import those lists and the data associated with those lists into AdWords. Okay, so it's going to come from Analytics, from the Analytics tag. The data gets processed, we build our lists, and those lists go into AdWords. If we're using the simple AdWords remarketing tag, so the data comes into AdWords through this green line over here, and then we could create our lists and just segment it out based on URL rules, and then we're going to be able to actually just run those campaigns directly inside of AdWords. So it's a very straightforward and simple process if we do it that way. When it comes to analyzing the results of the campaigns, you could actually analyze your campaign data in Google Analytics or in Google AdWords in either dashboard, as long as, you guessed it, as those accounts are linked with each other. By default, Google AdWords is going to also send campaign performance results back into Google Analytics. So you're going to actually be able to see the clicks, the cost per click, the bounce rates, the keywords, the search queries, the click-through rates of all your paid search campaigns inside your Google Analytics dashboard, as well as being able to see them inside Google AdWords. So that's going to also be a really helpful tool to use. You'll be able to see a lot of the Google AdWords data alongside the Google Analytics data, but it also works vice versa. You're able to import certain things like bounce rate and engagement, and average time on site, and average session duration from Google AdWords, from Google Analytics into Google AdWords. And this kind of goes back to my prediction I made in the previous lecture, that I really think that Google is going to be combining these two systems of analytics, of data analysis, of conversion tracking tags and remarketing tags, and they're going to ultimately put this into one more cohesive system. But right now you have these two different technologies, these two different Google products that really work in conjunction with one another. We're going to be importing those lists from Google Analytics into AdWords. We're going to be exporting data from AdWords into analytics to kind of analyze the campaign performance and to see it alongside all these other different types of metrics like bounce rate and pages per session that are unique to Google Analytics. But either way, they both work quite seamlessly with each other as long as those campaigns are linked. So let's go now and actually link our Google AdWords and Google Analytics campaigns with each other. So here we are back in our Google Analytics dashboard. Now you want to make sure you're signed into Google Analytics with using the same email address that you use to sign into your AdWords account. That's the most straightforward solution. We head over to the admin section, and in this middle column called property, we're going to see something called AdWords linking. You're going to click AdWords linking, and Google is going to pre-configure the AdWords accounts associated with this AdWords ID, associated with your Google Analytics account. And here's our Adventure Media Group AdWords ID 876701. We could go back into our AdWords account and just double check that that's the customer ID, which it is. It's pre-selected for us. We don't have any other options. If any of you guys are using an MCC, a My Client Center account, to manage multiple clients, you'll see a full list of all the available accounts for you to link to. And you'll see what that looks like later when we go into our actual MCC account. Go ahead and click continue. You could name the link group title. We're going to leave it here as Adventure Media Group. And we're going to select all website data. So we import and export and share between Google Analytics and Google AdWords the maximum amount that we could share. Turn that to on. We don't need to change any of the advanced settings, but let's just show you what they are. So under advanced settings, you have the option to turn off or on auto tagging. So we want to enable auto tagging on all linked AdWords accounts. That's the system. Auto tagging is the feature that's going to allow any click on one of your AdWords ads to report data inside Google Analytics. It's a really cool feature to have. Unless you have a specific reason for if you're tracking your data using a different analytics provider like Kissmetrics or whatever it may be, then you would leave auto tagging as they are, which is off by default. But if you're using Google Analytics and Google AdWords together, I highly recommend that you enable auto tagging. That way, all your clicks, all your activity in your Google AdWords campaigns will be reported in your Google Analytics dashboard. So once we're done, we click Link Accounts, and that's really it. Click Done, and we're good to go. That's all you need to do from the analytics side to link your AdWords and Analytics accounts together. But if you want to see data from Google Analytics inside AdWords, if you want to be able to see things like bounce rate and average time on site and average session duration, different additional detailed metrics that you get in analytics, if you want to see those metrics alongside your AdWords campaigns, your ad groups, your keywords, then you need to go ahead and edit a specific setting inside AdWords. So jump over to your AdWords account, click on the little gear icon in the upper right-hand corner. We're going to click Linked Accounts from the drop-down menu, and we're presented with some different Google products like YouTube, Search Console, Google Merchant Center, Google Play, but we're going to select Google Analytics here in the top left-hand corner. And we see that we have this one account which is linked to our AdWords account. But what we want to do is click Edit, and then by Site Metrics, select Import Site Metrics, which that is as it says. It's importing the data from Analytics into AdWords. We click Save, and we are good to go. We're showing here that we have 0 goals imported, 0 conversions, and conversions in AdWords are called goals in Analytics. That's something that you guys know already, but we're going to go over that again. And we have 0 remarketing lists coming in from Analytics. Why? Because we haven't yet created any remarketing lists. But that's what you have to do to link your Analytics and AdWords accounts. Now you know how to do it. Make sure it's all linked up for the next lecture. And in the very next section, we're going to start actually building our audiences using the Google Analytics Audience Builder. It's a super exciting tool. It's pretty crazy if you ask me. There's limitless possibilities. I'm going to show you a bunch of my favorite recipes. And most importantly, we're going to go and take all the different lists that we had planned in the previous lectures of this course, and I'm going to show you exactly how to use those ideas to build lists in the Audience Builder. And I'm also going to show you how to build lists around those custom events like the engagement and the scroll depth that we created using Google Tag Manager, and we're going to be able to finally utilize that data that we're collecting. So looking forward to seeing you guys in a few seconds on the other side.